Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Sunil Dutt, working as an assistant professor of physics uh, at Department of Science and Technology of Faculty of Education and Methodology in Jayoti Vidyapith Women's University, Jaipur. So, topic for my presentation or for this video is about dielectrics and about the Biot-Savart law. These topics are a part of elementary physics course of BTech second semester. So, in the previous video, we discussed about the capacitors. So, in the capacitors, dielectric is one of uh, their important component, because if you want to change the capacitance of a capacitor, you need different type of dielectric medium which are filled between the two plates or the cylindrical shape of the capacitor. Okay, so if we go by the definition, so the dielectric is an insulating material which does not allow charge to flow through it. It is because there is no free electrons to move inside the dielectric material. Okay, so for some examples of the dielectrics are wood, paper, rubber, glass, plastic, mica, wax, etc. So these are some common examples of dielectrics. So in general, the dielectrics can be of two types. One is non-polar dielectrics and another ones are the polar dielectrics. So we will discuss these two dielectrics one by one. So first we pick non-polar dielectrics. So the non-polar dielectrics are those material in which the centers of the positive and the negative charge in each molecule of the material coincide in absence of external electric field. So these materials are called non-polar dielectrics. If we take some examples, so then we can say that like methane, ethane, sulfur, and glass. So in these type of materials, the centers of the positive and negative charge of each molecule coincide. Okay, so these are common. However, in case of polar dielectrics, the dielectrics in which the center of positive and negative charges are separated in a molecule are called as the polar dielectrics. Thus, each molecule, in absence of external electric field, acts like an electric dipole due to an asymmetric structure of the molecules. So, if you take a water, ammonia, HCl, CO2, NH4Cl, etc., so these type of material or these type of mixtures which are filled inside the capacitor, these are called dielectric. Okay. So in these materials, we have separate position of positive and negative charges. So when you apply the electric field, you can see some polarity effect in these type of materials. Okay. So this is all about the dielectrics. So after dielectrics, we move to next topic, which is Biot-Savart law. So this you have already studied in your 12th class. So I hope you remember some part of it from there. So if we go by the definition, uh, so you can say that this law enables us to know the magnitude and direction of the magnetic field produced due to an elemental conductor carrying current. So if we consider a wire which is means some current is passing through it. So when the current will be passing through the wire, it will produce some magnetic field. So if we want to calculate the amount or the magnitude of that magnetic field, we consider a point P where we have to determine the magnetic field which is at a distance r and is making angle theta with uh, the direction of the flow of current. Okay. So according to Biot-Savart's law, the magnetic field vector dB due to a small element Mn of length dl carrying current I at a point capital P at a distance small r from the wire can be given by vector dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi times I into vector dl cross vector r, which is a vector product of dl and r upon r, the magnitude of r raised to the power 3. Okay. So in this formula, mu naught is the permeability of the free space. Its value is 4 pi into 10 raised to the power minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere. Okay. So the magnitude of the magnetic field is simply dB, which is given by dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square. Because dl cross r will be equal to dl into r into sin theta. So one power of r will be cancelled out with rq. So r will be removed from the numerator, and one power of r will be less from the denominator. Okay. So this value of theta is the angle between vector dl and vector r. So hence, according to this law, the magnetic field or the element of magnetic field is proportional to the current flowing in the wire, uh, the length of the element, and inversely proportional to the distance where we have to determine the magnetic field, and it is also proportional to the sine of the angle. Okay. So here this mu naught upon 4 pi is a constant of proportionality. है ना? We know the value of pi, which is 3.14 or 22 upon 7. So this is all about Biot-Savart law. After this, the next topic is Ampere circuital law. So in Ampere circuital law states that the line integral of magnetic field vector B over the closed loop coinciding with the boundary of a surface is mu naught times the total current through the surface. So the this Ampere's law gives the relation between the magnetic field and the current, or you can say the current produced due to the presence of some magnetic field. So according to this law, as I told you, that the line integral of magnetic field vector B over the closed loop coinciding with the boundary of a surface is mu naught times the total current through the surface. So closed integral over vector P dot dl will be equal to mu naught times I, where integration over vector B dot vector dl is the line integral of the magnetic field around the closed path, and I is the total current enclosed by the path. So the element dl and magnetic field B is 0 degree because both are in the same direction. So if you take the line integral over vector B dot vector dl, it will be B dl cos 0 degree. And since cos 0 is 1 and B is constant all over the field, so it will be taken out from the integration sign. So the expression will be like B integration over dl. Okay, so if we know the length of the wire, we can simply put the value. So the magnetic field due to a long charge carrying wire B will be equal to mu naught times I upon 2 pi r. Since the integration over dl will be the circumference uh, of if we curve the wire in a form of circle of radius r, so this will be equal to 2 pi r. So now b times integration over dl will be equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi r into 2 pi r. This will be simply equal to mu naught up to mu naught times I. So this is the relation between the Ampere's circuital law, which gives the relation between the current and the magnetic field. So in mathematical form, we can write integration over vector B dot vector dl will be equal to mu naught times I, where I is the current in the wire. So the last topic of unit first is about the Lorentz magnetic force. So when a charged particle moves through a region in presence of both the electric and the magnetic field, it experiences forces due to both fields. Means the it will have components from the two fields. One is called the magnetic, and the another one is called the mm, the electric field. Okay, so this was experimentally studied by Ampere and his team. So after that, the Lorentz based on his research on Ampere's experiment and gave a formula for this force, which can be written as vector F is a sum of vector F with a suffix E plus vector F with a suffix M, where Fe is the force due to the electric component and vector Fm is the force due to the magnetic component. So we know that the electric force can be given by Q times vector E, where Q is the charge and vector E is the amount of electric field, and the component in magnetic field can be given by Q times vector V cross vector B, where V is the velocity of the moving particle and B is the amount of magnetic field. So if we combine, we rearrange these parameters. So from here, you can see we can take Q as common. So this expression will be remaining as Q is equal to inside the capital bracket vector E plus vector V cross vector B. So this expression is called as the Lorentz force, the amount which is vector F. This is a sum of electric and magnetic field components. Okay. So if we consider that there is only one part dominating, then the other part can be neglected, and we will be left only with the one of the component which may be either electric field or the magnetic field. So this expression is very important in the field of particle physics, in the construction of particle accelerator, where the electric and magnetic fields are both are very important part. And if we take some example that if we consider a particle of mass small m of and a charge q and moving through a uniform magnetic field vector b with a uniform velocity vector v, uh, then the force experienced by the particle can be given by vector F is equal to q times vector v cross vector b. So if the angle between the direction or the velocity of the charge q and the direction of magnetic field is theta, then we can simply write that F will be equal to q times Vb sin theta. So here we have not considered the component from the electric field. So in this way, we can calculate different values. So this is all about this video. Uh, in next lecture, we will be discussing about the second unit, and this second unit is basically about the magnetostatics. So in magnetostatics, we will be having the topics like Lenz's force, Faraday's induction. So Faraday's law, self and mutual inductance, and the energy in a magnetic field, LCR circuit, and resonance. So these will be the topics for the next video or the next unit. Thank you.